Why can't I hear myself? There I am. Hi, everybody. Lorne Risley here, host of the Halcyon Show. How you doing? Thank you very much for coming and joining me on this actually rather resplendent Saturday afternoon. Just swap the camera very quickly because that's a bit better. So you can actually see my happy little face. Although the delay on this is absolutely incredible. I'm watching the live feed while I'm recording on this screen, and I'm still not there. So in about 10 hours, when you see this, hi, welcome to the stream. So, yeah, as I was saying, Saturday afternoon, it's actually been one of those weird days where the weather keeps doing this, and you're never really sure what's going to happen and when it's going to be nice and when it's not. But actually, it's been okay. So, kind of a conflicted day for... Oh, there's an ice cream van. Ice cream van. Oh, I don't know where the ice cream van is. I'm not allowed ice cream anyway. So, topic of the podcast, live stream, whatever you want to call it. Sometimes I don't feel like I am enough. Why? Why? So, the stream's current bitrate is fucking the internet, man. This internet is absolutely terrible. I really got to get around to upgrading my internet because it's just terrible. Wow. Stream is going so well so far. Anyways, right, let's talk. Sometimes I don't feel like I'm enough. Let's talk about it. Over the last sort of 2 or 3 weeks, I have spent the majority of my time by myself, if I'm being honest with you. I work hybrid, so I work 2 days in my office, and the rest of the time I'm here. My weekends are usually set aside for my kids. So it's one of those situations where go away. So it's one of those situations where, you know, I don't have a lot of exposure to people on a regular basis, but when I do, it's quite intense. It's quite full on. One of the things, though, that I've tried my best to mitigate recently, at least, and this is why I wanted to talk about this, is how much I really derive from those interactions. And what do I mean by that? I have found over the last couple of weeks that spending time by myself has been infinitely good for the soul in terms of just feeling like, right, get up in the morning. What do I got to get done? What do I got to make sure is done? Okay, cool. What do I then actually want to do with actually quite a lot of free time? What do I want to achieve? What do I want to kind of glean or garner from the time that I have? And it's been a fucking revelation, if I'm being honest with you. It's so nice not to have to deal with the expectations of people. God. I really got to improve my live stream setup. I really do. It's absolutely awful. Let's just shrink it for now. let's just ignore it. So, why am I bringing that up? Well, because in that time, of the rare interactions that I've had with a couple of people, it's become pretty painfully apparent that a lot of people are going through this feeling of not measuring up for one reason or another. They don't feel like they satisfy the people around them, that they are worthy of any positivity in terms of affection, in terms of love, in terms of acknowledgement, in terms of a whole myriad of different things, really. It's also striking me how lonely people feel, despite objectively being surrounded by people at almost all times, and just not really feeling like they have anything worthwhile going on. And that's weird, because that's how I felt for a long time, and that's usually when I was in the more socially intensive parts of the last couple of years of my life. I guess what I wanted to say with this is feeling like you're enough is a hard thing to swallow for people, because it's this thing of measuring up to someone else's standards or expectations without ever really examining what yours are or what they should be. One of the things that I wanted to highlight is the picture that I used for this thumbnail as an example of this. I didn't put that picture for any other reason than that picture in that moment, the sentence that I have used as the thumbnail for this, sometimes I don't feel like I'm enough, is exactly what I was thinking while I was looking at myself in the mirror and taking pictures. The reason I take pictures of myself when I train, contrary to popular belief or whatever the norm is as far as why people take pictures of themselves while they're training, is because I want to actually measure myself. I want to look at how you see me when I'm training. Like, what do I actually look like? Like, you can look in the mirror, and dysmorphia is a thing. So I don't want to have an image of myself that isn't real. I want to see what you see. And I was looking at myself in the mirror at that moment, and I was looking at myself like, wow, what a piece of shit. Like, what the fuck is that? Got your weird little muffin top, your scrawny little neck, and your tiny little arms, and your weird fat legs, and all this stuff going through my mind. Not once acknowledging the fact that, irrespective of what that looks like to me, the effort it took to get into that versus how I used to look is something I'm not going to give myself credit for. And that's mad, because that was, I think I took that picture about a month ago, so that would have been in mid-February. I've been training for 3 months. 3 months is what it took to get into that shape. And yet, I'm going to just discount it entirely because I'm thinking like, yeah, but everyone else is going to think that it still looks terrible based on the fact that they're going to assume that no effort was taken to get to that point. Rather than what should be the question. The question is, am I thinking about it from my perspective? How do I think based on how I know I could look if I didn't work hard? I know how I would feel if I wasn't putting in the effort. Recently, that's not been the same. Recently, it's been very much a case that I will do what I feel is necessary. And I'll be satisfied so long as I put in the commensurate effort. And I gotta tell you, it's been a fucking revelation. Part of that also is not doing it. And I will come clean about this. I don't take the pictures for the edge, but I do train, and I do try to maintain a physique so that when I go into public, people do regard me with some kind of reverence for that reason alone. Okay? I know we're not supposed to admit that in the fitness community, like, oh no, I train for my mental health. No, I train because it's the right way to live. No, you fucks. You train because you want people to fancy you. You train because you want people to look at you and go, look at him, he's so fit and hunky, and I just want to date him, and all the rest is sort of bollocks. I don't know why I did that. That looked weird. I'm getting Adam Pacitti thoughts in my head now. Like, anyways, I'm getting sidetracked. But I train because I want to maintain a good physique for other people. Really, when I actually boil it down, and that's not really a good way to go about it, if you're being brutally honest with yourselves. Fitness is supposed to be just that. It's supposed to be your fitness. Like, how long and how comfortably are you going to live? How fit and healthy are you? And yet, for the longest time, and that was not factoring into my program, my plans, or anything. It was a case of, I got to get bigger arms. I got to chisel down my midsection and have abs. I got to widen my back. I got to broaden the shoulders. I got to get more definition and all this other shit. I gotta be honest with you. Recently, I cut back my training pretty significantly by like 30%. I don't think I train more than an hour and a half a day at the moment. Maybe 2 hours. And if I do train for 2 hours, it's never intense. It's maybe an hour of intensive workouts. Matthew, how are you doing, sir? Appreciate you joining me. But I have wound that in significantly. And I gotta tell you, not only are the dopamine hits from the highs and the lows severely mitigated, and therefore my mood has stabilized significantly. My body is a lot healthier because it's just not tore up every day. I'm not taking pictures of myself and posting them all the time anymore because I'm just confident that I've been putting in the effort, so I don't need to check every day, like, how am I looking? How do I look for this angle? How do I look in this light? The greatest contrarian I know. Dub, you son of a bitch. It's good to hear from you. And I'm keeping exceedingly well. Thank you, Matthew. I hope you are well. I'm glad you said you're good. I hope you're as well as you can be. But the point of all this, this isn't the case for everybody. I see a lot of people at the moment trying to placate other people. I see a lot of people trying to live up to other people's standards. I see a lot of people at the moment doing things expressly for the purpose of how it's perceived by other people. Soap from... oh, the hair. Yeah, so... oh, you can see it. Yeah. It does kind of turn into a mohawk. I used to be able to blend these a little better. But because I don't have guards on my clippers anymore, and I don't pay for haircuts, fuck that shit. See, now that's interesting. Just getting on with things. I kind of want to probe a little deeper into that statement because I'll share. So just sorry, Charlie's. Yeah, it does look more like a mohawk. That's not intentional. It's just I keep the back and side short because I go grey down the back and the sides. Top, not a grey hair. So it's an easy look. Plus, my daughter said I looked like a rock star the other day with this hairstyle, so I'm gonna keep it for now. But just getting on with things. So I tell people constantly, I'm just surviving. I'm just surviving. And the weird thing is no one ever, cheeky, no one ever really picks up on that. Hey, Lorne, how you doing? Yeah, I'm surviving. Oh, good, good, good. They never hear the word. They always just hear, I'm good. Like, if you heard someone survived something, do you think they're good? Oh yeah, he fell into the lion enclosure. He survived. Like, the reason they say that is because that's the best thing they can say about that scenario. He survived. He's still alive. Like, it's hilarious to me because that's, again, one of those things where I was just being honest about how I was feeling in that moment. Just like how Matthew was in that moment, how Matt was feeling in that moment. Like, yeah, I'm just getting on with things, you know? Like, here's the thing, right? And it comes back to my conversation the other day when I was talking about, like, dealing with depression. The real trick is remembering happiness is your responsibility. And I mean that in every sense. Like, seriously, man. God. My internet connection. I'm sorry if it's broken up at any point in this conversation, guys. Okay, I want to take a second. So no one really wants to... Yeah, nah. I'll tell you what, I'll deal with them sequentially. So Charlie, first and foremost. So to be honest, no one really wants them to probe into things, especially at work. I don't think people think it's appropriate, and there are ways where it can be inappropriate. However, every time someone has said something where it's like, I'm fine, and I go, are you? You can always see they're glad someone fucking noticed. Now, granted, they may not want to tell you their life story there and then. But when you actually look at someone in the eye, and say, hey, listen, man, if you're not okay, that's okay. I'm here if you want to vent. I'm here if you want to talk. Just know, I'm not expecting you to put on a front for me. There's no song and dance needed here. They always appreciate it. It is always a thing where they go, do you know what? It's just nice to be seen. It's just nice to be viewed as I actually am, rather than how someone... Again, with my comment, like the survivor. Oh, so he must be fine. Tra-la-la-la-la. It's like... You wanted a response, I gave you a response, and you took it for however you wanted it to be, not how I meant it. Yeah, I'm sorry, Charlie, that's my bad. This the internet connection is terrible here, so... but anyways, back to the point. So Charlie's right, but at the same time, I would push back on that by saying that there's a way of being able to let people know that it's okay not to be fine. But as far as Matthew's comment then, so don't usually get personal on social media, but when I was 18, I was diagnosed with EUPD, and I have no choice but to take each day as it comes, and I just do my best to get through it. So here's the thing. As I talked about on my previous video, I'm getting through a lot as well. So my mum had a stroke, I talked about on the last one. She's better, she's at home, she's fine, but every day at the moment is one of those things where I wonder if something else is going to happen again. If she's going to have another relapse, if something worse is going to happen, if I'm going to get a phone call from someone that says something terrible has happened. You can't now go back to feeling like everything's great. I'm not going to say that, but you have to acknowledge the reality of life, which is that life doesn't stop for any man, woman, or child. Like, life goes on with or without you, and it's your choice whether or not to bury yourself in that. And it is a choice. Now, I'm not saying that you then go ahead and pretend like everything's fine. Not even a little bit. Like, there are things that still tremendously bother me to this day. I talked about the other thing, which was regarding the relationship that I had that fell apart, and the fact that I have a child that I'm not able to see at the moment. That bothers me every day. Every single day I wake up and I'm like, I want to do something. I want to do something about that. I want to fucking do something. But the thing with it is that it's not always that time. There's not always... You don't always get what you want in those ways in that moment. You've got to kind of condense that into something that you can deal with down the line and deal with things. Kind of what Matthew's saying here, day by day. There's something to be said about planning for the future. There's something to be said about reminiscing about the past. But really, the trick is to stay in the present. So to come back to Charlie's comment about the real trick with dealing with depression is managing your own happiness, demanding happiness from what you do. Funnily enough, I just had a conversation with a young man. He knows who he is. And he's expressed a couple of gripes. Let's put it that way. The phrase cunt was used quite frequently in the conversation, not directed to me. But it's a thing of he's deriving his happiness through someone else's expectations and disappointed that he's not meeting them. It's like, dude, you should only care about your expectations. You should set them as high as you possibly can, and you should hold yourself to the highest possible standard that you can. But they should be your standards, no one else's. If the idea is, I'm going to judge... So this comes back to the social media thing, by the way. If you're on... I have Instagram. I don't like using it anymore, but I am on Instagram. If you're on Instagram and you're a guy... Find me an influencer who isn't 6'5" and jacked juice to the gills, right? And then find me every hot chick on Instagram and see that she's being followed by 100,000 million people with 50,000 likes on every. And it's like, that's their standards and they want to set them for themselves. That's fine. But then those same people have to deal with the consequences of those standards. I don't know about anyone else. I just want to be a good person, and I try to be a good person. I'm not always successful in that endeavor, but like to Charlie's point about people being at work, I'd like to think that if I'm at work, yeah, I know. I'm sorry, Charlie. It's my internet connection. My internet connection's terrible. We're just gonna have to persevere like life. When people are at work, I try and make a point of engaging with them as best I can. And that doesn't always... See, I'm seeing it now. Yeah. Let's just persevere. Come on now. Persevere with me. Let's fucking do this. I try and make a point because I realise that I am probably one of the few people that's actually going to bother to do that. Doesn't make me a great person, but I'd like to think that makes me a present person. Like, I'm going to deal with people as they are, not how I want them to be. Whereas... it's so easy to become wrapped up in not only yourself from a narcissistic perspective, but also in how you want people. You're right, Charlie. You're right. It's the problem with live chats. You guys are always funnier than me. It's always so annoying. Like, I try and come on these things and be funny and insightful and witty and wise, and then I read the live chat. I'm like, you fuckers are so much funnier than me. Where was I? Standard. So, I mean, I want to come back with the influencer thing for a second. It's so hard for me at the moment to... I'll level with you, okay? Let me show you a vulnerability instead of sitting here acting like I've got all the answers, because I don't. But I have some answers, but I just want to share with you basically you're not feeling alone. Because I've just come off the back of a very, very harsh relationship that's left me feeling really like I'm questioning everything about like what I thought I knew and what did I do wrong, blah, 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 right? And then you go on social media and you see everyone's happy, everyone's partnered up, everyone's married with 1 million kids and a car and a house and all this other bollocks. And then you go on the Instagram, for instance, and everyone's so pretty. Everyone's so hot. And everyone's like, oh, having the greatest time. It's so easy to forget it's all bullshit. It's just all the people present to themselves on the internet. Because by that same rationale, because I haven't really posted anything online for the last 3 weeks, apparently I don't exist, according to the internet. Even though, no, I did exist. I woke up every day. I had my breakfast. I did my work. I trained. I went to bed. Like, fuck. Like, I existed during that time. And I was happy during that time because I was just doing my thing. I wasn't doing it for anybody else, for no other reason. I'm not training to impress anybody. I'm not doing my YouTube to try and win any brownie points with anybody. I'm not killing anything at work because I'm trying to get that promotion that everyone else is gunning for. Nothing. I am waking up every day and I'm going, right, what do I got to do? What do I want to do? And do I have enough time to do both of those things? That's it. Now, yeah. So I'm gonna right. So let's go back a second because I really want to address the comments as we go this time, but I want to just finish my point, which is I don't know if a lot of people are really happy when you see them on social media. I'm not really sure that a lot of people really present themselves how they want to be seen. How they are seen rather than how they want to be seen. And it's an incredibly liberating thing to just go, right, what do I got to do so I can make sure I honor my responsibilities as a person? And then what do I want to do? What do I want to do? What is in my best interest? What is best for me? Now, as I was giving advice to the young man, it's important not to conflate not caring about what people think about you with not caring at all for other people. That can make you a narcissist, and that's how you end up with people that are genuinely pieces of shit, because they then do things that hurt other people in spite of what's best for them. Now, last 3 weeks, I've barely interacted with anyone, so it's hard for me to say that I've hurt anybody doing that. But let's say, for the sake of argument, that, you know, you go to the gym and your training gets in the way of other people's training because you're taking up space, you're using kit, you're filming yourself, whatever, right? That's imposing on other people. That's why I have such a problem with gym influencers, because they have no concept of the fact that what they're doing is a distraction and inherently takes people out of their zone. Like, it's impacting on their ability to be happy and to have a productive workout. And it's so important to me, at least, to be present in of myself, but also to remember that my presence affects others. And that's why I think I felt alleviated over the last 3 weeks, because I've been away. I haven't been around people. So I haven't got this thing of, oh man, I said something at work today. Maybe I was too hard on that person. Or, oh man, that girl I walked past today, she looked my way. Maybe she likes me. Maybe she doesn't. But if I don't say anything, she'll never know. And it's like, man, being away from it all is just such a relief. I've got to be honest with you. And being a recluse isn't a solution to any of these problems, by the way. But I am saying that it's given me some perspective on the fact that in that 3 weeks, I've done literally nothing for anybody else because I haven't had to. I've just done what I felt I needed to do in the last 3 weeks. And it has been a fucking revelation. It has been so peaceful. And it has been so I just breathe. Just take it in and exhale. And it's not about feeling lost. It's about feeling like I have the freedom and the license to choose my own direction at any given point. Like, the thing with feeling lost is sometimes the fact that you've invested so much in going in a direction and that direction has a dead end. You now don't know where to go. And I feel like if more people had the permission to feel like they shouldn't have a direction, they should just be going where they feel they need to go, a lot of people would be happier in that too. Again, freedom's a weird thing, man. Having the freedom to be able to do what you want to do isn't so much as how much money you make, but it is sometimes just the mental acuity to say, I want to do this. So how do I do that? Not how do other people think it's acceptable to do it? Like training, I quit the gym. I haven't been going to the gym. I quit the gym. Do you see any loss of gains? Like, I'm not being funny, but like, I'm still 14 stone solid. How did I do that? I kept my diet up. I upped my sleep by an extra hour a day. I minded sugar and sweets and shit. And I train, you know? Oh, I like that. Oh, I love that. That is great. Comments. Live stream. Everybody. Charlie, you fucker. Back to the comment. Just remember this. The conductor leads the orchestra with his back to the audience. I love that. That's lovely. I really, really like that. That's quite poetic. But that's my point is, I made this point to the young man I was speaking to, is like, people gravitate towards people who are happy, who are content, who have their own mind. But then don't impose that on anybody. Like, I know it sounds weird, but I'll always ask people's permission before I give them advice. I'll always ask if I can ask them a question. Because it's not it's not for me to say you have to listen to this live stream. Like, join me, listen to me, but feel free to contradict me. Like, I love debate. I love the idea that someone can disagree with me, because all I can do is present to you my findings. My findings are my own, and hopefully you can derive some benefit out of them. And to answer your question, Charlie, absolutely not. I am taking every steroid under the planet. I'm taking steroids you've never heard of. I'm taking stuff that makes horses' heads grow 3 times in size. I'm taking stuff that grows an additional cow out of the horse. I am taking stuff that turns your urine to acid. I am taking things that would make... I can't think of the last one. No, dude, I've never even smoked a cigarette. The only drug I consume on a regular basis is caffeine, and that's it. I don't even drink all that much. So the idea of taking steroids is frankly hilarious, because number one, couldn't afford it. Number two, I don't know if it would really give me any more results, because I'm an endomorph, so I naturally let me put it this way: it's a pain in the ass to lose any fucking weight, because I just absorb calories and just never fucking let them go. But the point is, sorry, back to the point. So I want to come to so let's come to Matthew's comments, because again, he's kind of sharing something about himself, and I appreciate it. So true. I shut myself off for years. Sorry for myself. Lay down. World doesn't stop for anybody. Sun's still going to go up. Yep, 100%. Brother, it's so weird. He's in the exact same boat. Left questioning myself. And look, this is the thing with that, Matt. And it's so hard to tell someone to do this. And there was another person recently who had to tell something. When you just decide to start winning, and again, it's a choice that you go, right, I'm going to make decisions now because I want to win. I want to gain from my situations. I don't want to put myself out there for other people to help me win. It's stunning how quickly you turn shit around. But the sacrifice is what people think of you. And part of that is by making sure you're clear in your intentions and why you're doing what you're doing when people question it. And you don't conduct yourself in a twattish way. That's a hard line to walk as well. Some people really do feel the need to rub shit in people's faces, and that's hard to tell people not to do, because they need the adulation that comes with it. I'll be honest with you, man. I don't post a lot on social media these days as far as my training or any of my personal accomplishments, because frankly, I don't need the kudos for it anymore. It's enough for me that I did it. I know I did it. I was there. I saw it. I don't need everyone else to go, oh, well done. Oh, well done. Fantastic. It's not, because it's not for you. It's for me. It's so liberating to just go for my runs and train every day and know I'm getting better every day, rather than need you notice me, feel good about what I did. It's also the same with the breakup. Or in this case where Matthew's saying that he shut himself off for years. I've been in that position. There's no prize at the end of that rainbow. No one's standing there with a goodie bag at the end saying, so you suffered for 3 years. Congratulations. Here's your reward. Your reward is suffering. That's it. You don't get anything as a result of that. Now, am I saying that you shouldn't contemplate things and meditate on things and take things into consideration over a period of weeks, months, if not years? Fuck, man. Sometimes grief, you need that level of dedication and time to process. I am saying, though, that it has to be for you. If you're grieving because you're hoping that grief is somehow going to win you points with people, or that they're going to see your grief and attempt to alleviate it, I got news for you. That ship ain't coming. I'm going to take my contact lens out in a minute. I'm sorry I keep rubbing my eye, but my contact lens is bugging me. Do you know what? Can I pause for a second while fuck it. Now, let's press on. We've been going for half an hour. We'll wrap up in a minute. Well, I don't know if that's a reward, because I don't know if everybody's prepared to do that, Matthew. I've done it. Not just in relationships. I've rebuilt my entire life after COVID. My entire life. Literally. Body, mind, soul, job, house. Fucking everything you could possibly name about a person, minus my name by Deepole. Rebuilt. I do wear glasses, Charlie. It's just on this occasion I had contact lenses in from my training earlier. I haven't taken them out yet because I was going to do the live stream. It's like something gets in my eye and then it's in there. Okay, no, Matthew was being sarcastic. I will say though that the building yourself back up is Not something everyone has the ability to do. But that's why I'm trying to say that this advice about not caring, but certainly putting more of a focus and emphasis on what you think and the standards you want to hold yourself to based on what you know your capacity is and what your goals are and what your heart says you should do is entirely where your focus should be. Congratulations, Matthew. That's fucking excellent news. I'm sorry. Do you know what? I don't want to say patronize. I want to say that I'm so proud of you that you've managed that. That's fucking outstanding. Very, very well done. I'm 4 years clean from drugs last month. It's my biggest achievement. I shouldn't even be here today. Fucking congratulations. Absolutely magnificent. Well done. Honestly, man, that's the sort of shit. And look, that's yours. Like, that's my point, is like, you've achieved that. That's your achievement. No one else is going to understand what that means to you, what satisfaction you're going to derive from that, and how much it's going to carry forward into other aspects of your life. And people are going to gravitate towards you because of that aspect of you that you have pride and satisfaction and happiness from. Like, I know it sounds crazy, but the weight loss thing, part of that wasn't necessarily the physique and the weight, because there are better guys that are in better shape than me. It's the confidence that I exuded. It's the complete certainty I held about who I was that people gravitated towards. And I lost that for a while because I started fucking thinking about other people and how can I make them happy? Fuck. How do I get them to like me more? How do I make them happier? Like, oh, well, you know, if I don't do this, are they going to like me anymore? If I don't get into better shape, are people going to like me as much? If I don't earn as much money as this guy, are they going to discount me and all this other shit? I'm not enough. Again, I'll come back to the statement that I put on the thumbnail. Sometimes I don't feel like I'm enough. And here's the thing, to kind of bring this whole thing back to a point. Says who? You are always enough so long as you're enough for yourself. That is the only person that should have any bearing on that assessment. It shouldn't be someone that, even people that you love, that they don't get to put standards on you. Minus the law. Obviously, I'm not saying, well, I set my own standards. I'm a serial killer. Like, right, okay. I'm not saying that you shouldn't set standards based on what the law says, okay? And even then, there's some sketchy shit that I don't necessarily agree with when it comes to law, specifically when it comes to paternity and maternity rights. But the point is that morally and from a lifestyle perspective, the only person is you. You should be enough for you. And if your questions are not centered around that ideology, you won't ever be enough for other people. That's just the way that goes. You will never be smart enough, clever enough, fit enough, smart enough, confident enough, rich enough. Because even if you are for a period, shit changes. People's aspirations change. People's demands change. People's appetites change. People's hunger change. People's outlook changes. Perspective changes. Want to know how I know? There have been at least 2 relationships in my life where I was absolutely drop dead in love with that person, would have died for that person, and by the end of the relationship, I'm not sure if I knew who that person was anymore. Just people. It does things to people. And it's not to say that you can't find people that can follow similar paths, but I think it's because those 2 people make a conscious decision that they're going to grow together, but not in spite or because of each other. It's a different thing. When you're navigating life just standard, I think being a good person is a choice you make because you want to be a good person, not because... I'll give you the best example I can give you. Someone crosses the road that you let them... You're driving, someone crosses the road, doesn't say thanks. Now, doesn't a little part of you, every time that happens, get a little, you fuck, I stopped for you. How could you, mother... And it's like, right, dude, did you stop because you wanted the thanks? Or did you stop because it was the right thing to do? Or because it was the law? Like, pick your poison, but, like, understand that if you're just doing it for the thanks, they have the option not to say thank you, so you're setting yourself up for disappointment. Me, I'll be honest with you. I go out of my way to let as many people go as I can, not because I'm after the thanks, but because I just feel like I want to just make everyone's days a little easier sometimes, because my day's already pretty fucking easy. Off you go. You're walking, I'm driving. Hey, you go first. Go on. They say thank you, it's nice. I do make the point of always saying thank you to people, especially when I'm on my runs. The look in people's eyes, it's the wonderful, most warmest, kindest thing. When you're running and you see someone just take a little sidestep, but they do it not expecting thanks, because runners, generally speaking, are twats. And you just go, cheers, mate. And they kind of look at you like, oh, wait, you are a human. You're capable of acknowledging me? Wow, that's incredible. It's so funny to me how they just realize in the moment, like, wow, all of the runners could have said thank you, but they chose not to, the pricks. But they were kind of wrapped up in themselves. Like, they didn't have to move, you didn't have to move. It's just you make the choice to make each other's lives a little easier. That's always been my philosophy. I try and just think about, like, other people, but these days I try not to think about it from the perspective of, well, other people need to acknowledge how good a person I am, and they need to say thank you and show me politeness and fucking courtesy. Dude, no one owes you a goddamn thing, but you don't owe anyone anything else. So make your peace with that. If you want to be a good person in spite of the fact that there are pieces of shit out there. Like, I don't know what else to tell you as far as, like, you can't force people to agree with you. You can't force people to understand your perspective. All you can do is conduct yourself accordingly. And so long as you conduct yourself accordingly, it'll work out in the end. Because, again, people gravitate back towards the people that they like, or that they think have got a good perspective on life, or got a good grasp on who they are. If you don't feel like you're enough, I think the first thing you should do is ask the question of enough for who? And if the answer is anybody else but yourself, you're asking the wrong question. And if the answer is, well, I don't think I'm enough for myself right now, okay, now we're on to something. Where are you falling short? Be honest, okay? Are you prepared to go about changing that? Are you prepared to take your happiness seriously? Are you prepared to take responsibility for your happiness? To highlight Matthew for a second, it wasn't for a medical condition. It was because I was genuinely heartbroken. Dude, I took 1.5 years out from life because I broke up with a girl, or she broke up with me, if we're being honest. She broke up with me after a 5-year relationship. Engaged, lived together, the whole shebang bang. Broke up, have never seen her again. And it was all my fault. And I had to wrestle with that. Not because I cheated or because of any of that. It's because I had become an insufferable piece of shit. I was a miserable person who was vindictive and mean. And I had to live with the fact that I did that. That was my fault. But here's the thing. I just sat with that for 1.5 years, just feeling sorry for myself. Not growing, not learning, not changing, not embracing my failure and moving forward with life, just sitting with it like a lump in my fucking lap. That wasn't a good thing to do. It's not prison. You're supposed to grow. You're supposed to progress. You're supposed to be happy. You're supposed to acknowledge when you've done something wrong and try to grow and be better as a result. And that would have been enough. No, I felt like I needed to punish myself for 1.5 years. What was my prize at the end of that rainbow? Fucking nothing. Fucking nothing. Rob, it's good to see you, my friend. Appreciate you tuning in for 2 minutes. Right at the end, mind you, because I'm planning on wrapping up in a moment. And Matthew, 2 things. Number 1, I am so happy that you shared that, because it's not easy to be this vulnerable with people, especially online. So I appreciate you sharing. Again, I'm kind of making my peace more and more with the fact that if it happened, I'm happy to talk about it. I'm not going to be too sensitive about things anymore because it doesn't really get anyone anywhere. However, the fact that you've made the decision that it's on you now is great, because that's the trick for me. Depression, I think, comes from a lot of sources, but a lot of times it's questioning, why is stuff happening to me, or why is it being done to me? Why was I chosen? And it's like, you got to let stuff go, but you've also got to choose to take stuff on in terms of like, again, I don't know what it took to put you in that position, but I'm pretty goddamn sure that it would have probably put most people in the same position, dude. And that's the thing. You have to not be resentful of the fact that you are the one that's bearing the brunt of this, and like everyone else seems to be happy and everyone else is doing their thing and you're not. The fact is that it's you. It's on you now. You got to deal with it. And yeah. This is the thing, man. Like, and by the way, I love this. I love how I'm talking to you guys, like Charlie and Matthew specifically, who just like you've stopped by to talk. I really do hope that people see this and go, oh, me too. Like, so much of this stuff is such a universal feeling, and yet, yeah, dude, I'll be honest right now. The last 3 weeks, like, if you get into that mindset where, wow, no one seemed to care I wasn't around for the last 3 weeks, man, maybe be better off without. Dude, that's such a natural thought process to have, especially as you're a guy in 2024. I know we don't want to get into this because I know a lot of people have very differing feelings. I genuinely think one of the existential crises of the moment in Western society, at least, is manhood. Is the fact that I feel as a man I have no real productive place in society a lot of the time. In fact, more than that, I feel like a lot of time I feel like an imposition to people. Like I'm an impediment to their happiness. And it's a thing of, man, would it be such a terrible thing if I wasn't around? But the thing with that is that's an inherently selfish and short-sighted way of looking at life. And again, the question isn't what should I do to alleviate them, because you're not alleviating anyone of anything. But you should be endeavoring to be the best version of yourself, because not only do you then gain the satisfaction from within you, you do become part of the world in a more direct way. People naturally want to gravitate towards you when you actually have something to offer. I'm not happy about that. I really wish people just be embracing of people irrespective of who and what they are. Unfortunately, I've been around too many people that have been left behind by other people. I'll use my mum as an example. Oh, fuck, I've just said that. People don't visit my mum, and that really bothers me. When she was able, and she was on the keyboard all the time and visiting people, yeah, one of the life supply, everyone's talking to my mum, blah, blah, blah. Now she's bedridden. I'm the only one that visits, more or less. That bothers me. Because my mum hasn't changed as a person, but what she has to offer people has. Suddenly, what's in it for me has changed. And suddenly people are all so fucking quiet. And that's my point, man. I don't like that that's the world, but that is the world. So if that's the case, and that's the game, it's all good, brother. Matthew, it's all good. Anyone that sees this, it's all good. Like, I've long since made my peace with this. It's not something to get angry about anymore, because it's the way it is. You're not going to convince people to be good people for the sake of it. If people are naturally wired to be transactional, you can get mad about that as much as you want to, or you can recognize that that's the reality. And unfortunately, most people need an incentive. Again, to bring it back, I don't know what put you in that position, Matthew, but I imagine some part of it was the transactional nature of life and the fact that you don't have a lot to offer people who have something you want. If it's attention, adulation, love, physical interaction, whatever it is, you know? Yes, we do. And but the growth is your growth. I feel like it's, what's this song called? Oh, if there's song in the background, oh, I'm sorry. So I put the edit in a loop. So, I don't know. It's part of a lo-fi track that I use on my, my normal show. It's a list of non-copyrighted lo-fi songs. If you want me to, I'll need to find the timestamp and I'll try and find it and send it to you, Charlie. Because I do have a list of them. It's just I don't have it to hand. But anyways, the idea of it being transactional, dude, you can get mad about that as much as you like. Not everyone's like that, but a lot of people are. And it's a thing where you go, I'm sorry, that's the way it is. You got to deal with that. And then part of that is, again, the winning aspect. If I got to start cultivating my own worth and my own social currency, then I got to start doing that. You can't look to other people to give it to you. I find that the weakest people often are the people that have the most quote-unquote social currency. The people that I look at as having very, very little self-worth and a sense of their own identity are the people that are the most popular, man. Very rarely do I see someone that's really popular and I go, wow, that's someone who definitely has their shit together. That's someone who is held up by 3, 4, 5 million different voices that all give them meaning. But only because those 3 or 5 million people get meaning from them in return. It's transactional. Me, I'd rather empower other people. I want to point to people and say, you're great because of this reason. And you're amazing because of this reason. And you're amazing with this reason. The live stream I did a few weeks ago, which Matthew was party to, and I appreciate that it was against his wishes, but I appreciate him sticking around. I only did that because I wasn't thinking about me. I was thinking ultimately about other people and the bullshit that they've got to do. But it's not in me to go and point to people and say, you're fucking up and you're fucking up and you're fucking up anymore, because it doesn't serve a purpose. All you can do is set a better example and be successful in that example. You got to show people the way to a large degree. Again, it's the same with my weight training. The fact that I can go away for 3 weeks, come back in better shape, and someone's going to ask me, how'd you do it? Like there's a switch you can flick. And it's like, no, I trained for 3 weeks. I went away and I dedicated myself for 3 weeks. And it was hard. And it was thankless. And it was tiresome. But I wanted to do it. That's that. And I would do it again. That's the precedent you set. And they can either look at that. And some people do. Some people do tag along. And they're like, oh man, let me come and train with you then. Cool. And then there's people that go, fuck that noise. And they don't want anything to do with it. That's fine too. It's about what is best for you. Again, sometimes I don't feel like I'm enough. Again, ask yourself the question. Enough for who? If the answer is anybody else but yourself, you're asking the wrong question. You should be asking yourself, why am I not enough for myself right now? Because you've got your own standards and your own potential. You should live up to that. Be the best version of yourself you can be for you. If that has benefits to other people, great. If it doesn't benefit another person on the planet, doesn't matter. Benefits you. So be the best version of you for you. Win. Choose to win. However that is. I'm not saying go out and earn £60,000. Go out and bang 20 fucking million people, or get the biggest diamond-covered bouncy castle, or whatever the fuck. But if that's what you want, fair enough, go after it. But at the same time, don't go after it because, oh yeah, well everyone else thinks I should. I've got to drink Prime because my mates are drinking Prime and I think I'm a loser if I don't. Fuck them if they're that fucking fickle. It's that simple. Sorry, but it's the same reason why I'm not surprised about my little rant from 3 weeks ago, that there are people that have actually I've become closer with as a result of my rant because they appreciated me for being me, versus people that turned their back on me because I had the temerity of speaking my mind. Cool. Fuck them. Off your pop. Because clearly... It's alright, Michael. You're all good. I'm wrapping up in a minute anyway, so we're all good. I'm just going to take a quick look through the comments, and then I'm probably going to wrap it up here, guys. Right. Yeah. Honestly, Matthew, I really, really appreciate it, man. Like I say, I've never been there. The worst I've ever come in terms of self-harm. I don't think I've ever spoken about this publicly, so this might be the first time I've ever spoken about this. I have 3 scars. One across here, and one down here. They're faded now, thankfully. Never cut myself, but there was a period of time where I felt particularly numb in my formative years as a teenager, because I was just a nerd and a geek and a loser and all the rest of that sort of stuff, just shunned by everybody. And so yeah, what I did was I took sandpaper I just sort of just rubbed it. Just kept on rubbing it for about an hour. And yeah, I just did that because I just didn't know what else to do with my grief, with my pain. And that sounds kind of melodramatic now, but genuinely, man, like I couldn't talk to anyone about it. Couldn't vent. I wasn't talented, so it's not like I could draw or make music or be theatrical, or I wasn't popular, so I didn't have friends I could talk to about some of this shit. But it's like, I just got to do something with it. Now, in hindsight, that was a ridiculous thing to do. If I feel pain these days, or if I feel genuine grief or sadness or sorrow, I just sit with it for a minute. Just sit with it. Let it wash over me for a second. Feel it. Okay? Don't deny it. Don't fight it. Just let it sit. Maybe put on a music, song like, Radiohead or something like that, and just let it wash over me properly for a minute. And accept it. Accept it's a feeling I had. Accept it's just a feeling. Reassess. Look around. Look out the window. Sometimes that's all you need to do. Just look out. Look, life. Look, there it goes. People. Animals. The trees. The wind. The sun. It's all going on. And it's going to go on. It's going to keep going on. So go with it. Take a breath. Give yourself a break. Give yourself permission to feel low. Give yourself permission to fail. Give yourself permission to fuck up sometimes and not do the right thing and relapse sometimes. It's fine. Human beings are not fucking meant to be perfect. If you are perfect, I don't trust you because you're lying because you're not. I don't trust anyone without a dark side. No one. If you're perfect, I'm gonna sniff around you a little bit because I don't trust that shit. Yeah. Matthew's got it right. It's okay not to be okay. And it's okay to be okay too. That's the other thing. When you've gone through a period of feeling sad, the temptation sometimes is to make that your fucking personality until people acknowledge that. Nah, man. It's okay to be okay too. Again, after everything I've described it in my previous live stream, do you think I look depressed today? I'm fine. I'm okay. Am I where I want to be? No. Not even a little bit. I'm getting there. And you can too. Every single person who listens to this, every person who has listened to this. Matthew in particular, I'm so proud of you for sharing all that stuff with us, man. I really, really appreciate it. And again, it's one of those things where I know I'm not alone when I feel this stuff. And that's why it's important to share with other people that they're not alone. But the other thing to do as well is to try and give them some guidance into how to alleviate it, because that's the other problem I've seen. A lot of people just want you to be okay. Just be okay. Come on, you not being okay is an imposition to me. Okay, great. Cheers. Whereas, dude, if someone's not okay, cool. Still my friend, still my brother, you're still my sister, you're still my aunt, uncle, colleague, whatever. Sun will rise tomorrow, and maybe you'll feel better tomorrow. And if you do, great. I'm not going to sit here and go, oh, for fuck's sake, you were crying and whinging yesterday, and now you're fine. No, none of that shit. No judgment here from me. And there shouldn't be from anywhere else, but sometimes that's what you get. That's why, again, I'll bring it back to my point. You're the only person whose expectation should matter to you. Period. End of story. If sometimes you don't feel like you're enough, remind yourself you are the only person who should be enough for you. The only person. Everyone else is a beautiful, wonderful bit of icing on the cake of life. They should not be what define you. They should not be where you derive your happiness from. They should be additions to that happiness, nothing more. Same with your job, same with the possessions that you have. They should all be just little additions. Ultimately, all you have is here and here, and that's it. Those are the only two things guaranteed to you every day you wake up and open your eyes. That's it. And anything more than that you're deriving your happiness from, yeah. Yep. Charlie's right. Charlie's right. Matthew, I appreciate that, man. And look, let's use this as an opportunity to say, listen, again, because I've always said this, my DMs are always open for everybody, man. If anyone needs to talk, I've always got my Zoom, I've always got my DMs. fucking drop me a message, man. Like, I've always got 20 minutes for anybody. Always. Never, ever, ever. I don't care. There's no one else who is as not busy as me, I promise you. So, if anyone wants to take anything out of this, know that I'm always a DM away. Yeah? So, Matthew, I appreciate it, because the same goes for you. Yeah. Well, I think the internet, to Charlie's point, I think the internet changed how we look at each other in terms of, again, that transactional, more isolated way of looking at things. And that's part of my point, is that, like, I look at myself as myself, but I don't look at myself now in terms of I look at other people as something to derive a transaction out of. That's what I think the internet has increasingly taught people to be, is you need to look at everyone else as secondary to you. They are inferior to you, and they exist only to provide you with things. If you're a girl and you're looking for a guy, he needs to have this, this, and this, and this so that you can get it from him. If you're a guy and you're looking for a girl, she needs to have this, this, and this, and this to give to you. If you're in a job, it needs to do this for you, da-da-da-da-da. And it's always, yeah, but we're not built like that. Humans are tribal animals. We inherently thrive in communities that support each other. That's how we're built. And yeah, that's what I'm increasingly trying to get back to. My sense of community is the people that I surround myself with on purpose, and the people I expose myself to on purpose. If I don't want to expose myself to you, then I won't. Ha! The internet was a mistake! Charlie, man, your stand-up routine is coming along very nicely. I have to be honest. I might steal most of this from my own routine one day. There's a lady on... so Instagram does occasionally throw up the occasional good thing. And there's a lady on there who takes notes from the stalls of bathrooms in America and sings them with a guitar. That's going to be the way my thing gets set up, is like... The internet was a mistake. And now Matthew's threatening us all with exposure. Go ahead, Matthew. I dare you. I dare you. I dare you. Go ahead. I expose myself. My thumbnail, I'm completely exposed. Nipples and all. I'm staggered YouTube let me get away with that, by the way. I'm almost certain my video is going to get a takedown notice because I have nudity. So... on that note, because no one needs to see my top half exposed any more than it already is, I'm going to wrap it there by just saying once again, ladies, gentlemen, and that technicolor rainbow in between, sometimes I don't feel like I'm enough. And if I do, I'm asking the wrong question, because I am enough for me. You should be enough for you. And that should be enough. Bars. Anywho. So to Matthew, Charlie, Michael, to Rob, who joined us very briefly there, and there was someone else. So, Ra-K, who actually came up with probably the most poetic thing. Oh, and Dub. Dub was here for about 2 minutes. Thank you very much for joining me on this edition of the Halcyon Show live stream. My name's been Lorne Risley. I sincerely hope you're all taking care of yourselves. And yeah, I'll catch up with you all soon. I feel like I'll do live streams after I've done interviews now, so I won't bombard you with weekly live streams. It'll be a case of we'll do an interview, then maybe a live stream. We'll do an interview, and then maybe a live stream. So yeah, Matthew, love you, brother. You're a good guy. Charlie, you funny fuck. Appreciate you as always. Michael, love you too, brother. And yeah, you guys all take care of yourselves. And yeah. I guess I'll see you on the next episode of The Halcyon Show.